And they've essentially just been falling down a staircase for the last couple of years, and every time I check in on them, I confirm they are indeed still falling down that staircase. As many of you guys know, one day, Austin McBroom, the father of the Ace family, decided to wake up and he realized his new roleplay was going to be a boxer. And this decision alone has caused them more problems than anything else in their life, or well, if you look aside that $12 million house they foreclosed on because they bought it with something like a 1-year construction loan. But today we're talking about a brand new lawsuit that was filed against them, and this lawsuit, it's not from the most recent event, it's from the first event, the one I actually went to in Miami Gardens. And I'm gonna say it again, I enjoyed my time there. It was a fun event, but there wasn't a lot of people there, especially compared to the size of the arena. I don't even think we managed to get to 20% capacity. Bro just got an extendo dog. So even while I was at the event, I had a slight feeling there was going to be some financial issues unless they like really outdid themselves on the pay-per-views. And shortly after the event, a light $100 million lawsuit was filed at Austin, and then Austin proceeded to have some sort of weird press conference outside of some LA steakhouse.
First, I want to say I appreciate everybody who came to the event. It means the world to me, man. For those people who were there, you guys know how much of a success it was.
So we quickly realized the pay-per-views did not sell as planned. But those lawsuits have all been settled now, and I thought we'd moved on until the other day, because apparently Jarvis was happy with what he got from that event. So Jarvis, formerly known as FaZe Jarvis, has now officially sued Austin McBroom and his father. So here we have the lawsuit right here in the Superior Court of the State of California, County of Los Angeles. Jarvis is suing them for breach of contract, breach of implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, fraud, negligent misrepresentation, intentional interference with contractual relations, and civil conspiracy. I swear the Ace family's in and out of court more than most lawyers. But in this lawsuit, they are alleging that Austin was really scheming here to get influencers to come along and join him for this event. Because in the lawsuit it says, first, to accomplish this scheme, McBroom needed credibility. McBroom engaged Paul Kazers as executive producer, a veteran in the entertainment world, specializing in new media, digital/social platforms. McBroom supplemented his team with 2 entertainment law firms to assist with organizing the event and negotiating the deals with the talent. Jason Zivian of Sanders Roberts and Jason Samatoro of Pryor Cashman, collectively the SGP's attorneys. As the social media world can be very competitive, McBroom's ability to attract other social media stars would be contingent on him hiding his ownership of this event from the other social media influencers whose involvement McBroom pursued. The ruse began with McBroom's incorporating a single-purpose limited liability company, Simply Greatness Productions. McBroom and Zivin chose Delaware as the state of incorporation, where McBroom could take advantage of the state's anonymity protocols. When the other social media stars began to ask questions of SGP, Austin McBroom and SGP attorneys had a secondary scheme which they employed. Alan McBroom and Zivian suggested the ownership of the LLC to be transferred to Kazers on the day of a significant contract signing. Alan McBroom further suggested that the following of the execution of the agreement, ownership would then be returned to Austin McBroom. Kazers was stunned by Alan McBroom and Zivian's devious plotting. That's actually insane. And I don't think this could have backfired harder. Because even though they tried to be super sly and sneaky with this whole event, this event seems to be a massive money pit for them. And absolute headache, because how many times have they...
I'm not gonna lie. If I did something like that, I'm gonna give every single customer their money back and refund everything if my event does not go any well at all. I think in this case, when it comes to Austin and his family, they always getting sued. They always getting any type of mess that they're in. And I'm not surprised by it, because this is what social media influencers do. They scam people all the time. If I were in social media influencer, so help me God, I will regret scamming people out of their money, because I call myself trying to do what everybody else is doing. At least as a man, all I can do is just take accountability. So the best thing for you to do is just stop scamming people. Stop coming up with these crazy live events knowing that it's not going to go well. Just saying.
Of the cake, they were also allegedly lying on who would be a part of the event. If there was an influencer award for the sleaziest influencers, the Ace family would be neck and neck with BitBoy Crypto. But this is how they marketed the event to influencers.
I keep hearing something about crypto. Like, I know it's a site that helps people get money, but I'm just not with it. I'd rather get money the old-fashioned way, working jobs and doing art commissions for people. Ain't no way in the world I'm gonna be doing crypto if I don't know how to operate.
Allegedly tricked them into thinking they weren't behind this all. Deck entitled the largest pay-per-view event in history. And another version of his marketing deck, McBroom showed Kevin Hart as the host for Social Gloves, despite McBroom's never approaching Hart directly for the project. McBroom knew that Kevin Hart would be out of the country during the event. Basically. So here we see, I guess, Exhibit 1, which is, yeah, where it says the largest pay-per-view event in history, McBroom versus Hall. And then it shows Austin McBroom versus Bryce Hall, Grayson Dolan versus Taylor Holder, Steve Will Do It versus Nova Beck.
Let me ask y'all something. Whatever happened to boxing, the good old days when boxing used to mean everything? Nowadays, it's just a bunch of boxers going up against social media influencers and YouTubers turned boxers fighting athletes that are not boxers, like Jake Paul, for example. Because boxing, like I said, it used to be a sport that means everything. Nowadays, all I see is it's just a bunch of celebrities and social media influencers going up against one another. That don't mean a thing to me. That's how embarrassing boxing has become nowadays.
Tanner Fox is supposed to be here. I don't think he actually showed up either. And then they're like flexing the significant others. Bruh. And then you have the event details. They're estimating 5 million pay-per-view purchases, which is just outrageous, with a projected gross revenue of $200 million. I mean, that would have been a solid bag if they pulled it off. That didn't go in their favor though. But, and then you have the host, Kevin Hart, and the national anthem by James Charles. Oh man. None of those happened. I could say that. And then you have this, like, I guess conflicting pitch deck that was like after, because it says like by the numbers. Here they say projected pay-per-view streams 10 million, so double what the original pitch deck was, with the projected gross revenue is $500 million. What are they smoking? And with all these fancy pitches and so on, apparently Jarvis was promised $1,025,000. He got the $25,000 up front with $1 million promised for him later on. And it also seems like he allegedly promised Jarvis first priority, meaning he'd get paid first, but the problem is he did that to a bunch of people. The problem for McBroom was there could only be one first priority position. However, as long as each talent making the request did not know that the other talent was promised, McBroom could I can't pronounce that word. McBroom could, whatever that word is, to the multiple requests to the first position. So, under the cloak of confidentiality, provisions of each agreement, SGP secretly agreed to first priority provisions for at least 3 fighters, its executive producer, and its primary investor, unbeknownst to plaintiff. Holy that's shady as I think this was also mentioned in one of the previous lawsuits that we covered about this whole event, but it's still just insane to read it again. And it goes on to say, the 1-month spending spree in order to lock up the talent with exorbitant contracts caused McBroom's business manager, Mark Goodman, to state to McBroom, "You are spending like a drunken sailor." I mean, that's on brand for him. This is the same dude with a fleet of exotics and a $12 million foreclosed mansion. McBroom was warned by 2 experts that SGP's promotional strategy will not drive ticket purchases. Jackie Stone, Live by Live's chief marketing officer, went on record with McBroom warning that his strategy would not generate no more than 200,000 pay-per-view sales. McBroom pointed to all the impressions the event was generating. Ms. Stone admission that impressions do not equal conversions, but McBroom already knew that. McBroom's goal was to elevate his number of followers, the element which brought him and his family wealth during the last 4 years. And that didn't go over well, or well, at least compared to the overhead of the event. Because overall, I mean, this event could have had a whole bunch of success if they just didn't have all the overhead. They didn't need to go for the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens. They didn't need to have Lil Baby and DJ Khaled and Fat Joe.
What was the point of that anyway? Like, if you're going to create an event, don't be inviting these A-list celebrities to pump up the crowd to get the event going. Like, if this is your event, you're supposed to do that on your own. And basically, all you're doing is just scamming people out of the money yet again. And this is the first time the Ace family has been in a whole lot of controversies It's been like this for years. I'm gonna get to that towards the end of the video.
If they just ran the event on a budget, which is okay to do because it's the first event and it's a YouTuber event. We don't need the crazy production. Like, everyone there at that event got famous off of recording with their own camera. But what is very interesting about this is Austin has came out multiple times saying that all the fighters have been paid. Well, then what is this lawsuit? Or does he just consider that Jarvis got his $25,000 up front and he was like, yeah, he was paid? Like, what? If he was promised $1,025,000, he should get that money, because the amount of time that you have to put into training for a boxing match like that, it's insane. And the only reason he did it was because of that massive bag, I'm assuming. So
shout out to this brother for doing a good job on this content, but I'm gonna get my thoughts on the whole Ace family and the whole YouTube family channels I've seen on the platform all the time. I think they're a joke. I think they're fake, and they're always involving their kids and all of that. But if something bad happens to their channel or something controversial pops up on the media, they're going to end up talking about it like nonstop. They're going to end up reporting it, and they're going to end up creating a topic video about family channels and all of that. And sometimes you got to know when to draw the line if you're going to end up doing something stupid. Like, if you're going to scam people, just say so. Don't be sneaky about it. And so, as for the Ace family, I'm not surprised by it. This is your typical Ace family, always getting into trouble, always scamming people all the time, which is why you will never see me create an event to scam people out of their money, the hard-working money. As for crypto, now you will never see me do that stuff unless I'm in financial trouble. I'm just saying. Once again, shout out to this brother for doing a good job on this video. Original video down below. What's your thoughts on this? Chime in the chat, and I'm out of here.